Welcome back to another installment of Keeping BZ, the show where Zach and I make an excuse to acknowledge each other's existence by showing each other a video game. Today, I'm looking at, I guess this is sort of obscure. I mean, the series it's attached to definitely isn't, but I've talked to a lot of people that don't even know Buffy the Vampire Slayer video games exists, but there actually were quite a number of them, mostly on handhelds. But today we're going to be looking at the original first Buffy the Vampire Slayer video game for the original Xbox. It was an Xbox exclusive, never got a port to anything else, which probably explains why not many people know about this one. For those of you that know Buffy as a series, this takes place around like the season 3 era. So like, you know, Spike's in this game and some of the other characters you will be familiar with are going to show up. But there's nothing with, obviously, Buffy's not in college yet, and there's none of the stuff that'll come into the later seasons. So we're going to start and I assume for many of you that's probably comforting to know it's earlier Buffy. But I'm just going to get into it. We're not going to start from the beginning. We're going to start from the first library section. So there are, like, points in this game where you're, like, talking to the characters in the library, as they usually did in the show, to dump exposition about the next story point. But primarily this game's like a beat-em-up. So I'll explain more as we kind of get more into it. This is the loading screen. It says summoning.
Ooh.
Oh, and if the game looks choppy to you watching, just know the game isn't usually like this. This is unfortunately the side effect of an Xbox emulator that's not, you know, as polished yet, running on a computer that's not... My computer's pretty good graphics card wise, but when a emulator isn't fully put together yet and isn't fully polished and optimized, it can take a while for it to be up to snuff. So struggle with me here, but this game is still very much playable on this emulator. Let's talk to Xander.
Hey Buff, I've been working on this bad boy for quite a while, and this looks like the right time to break it in.
Xander. For me? You shouldn't have.
So, Sarah Michelle Gellar is not playing Buffy here. It's a sound-alike, but everybody else in this room is played by their original actors.
Keep an eye out for crystals when you're out on Slayer duty. Pretty, but they also come in handy. Strong with a mojo. Any good witch or bad demon knows that certain crystals have healing or energy-enhancing powers. If you find anything, bring it back to me. I've been experimenting with some spells using crystals. If I have the right ones, I might be able to boost your strength and Slayer power. Kinda like an energy bar, but you don't need it. Tummy ache.
And later we could make some fun and life-affirming jewelry out of them. Or not.
I haven't seen Buffy... Well, let me rephrase that. I stopped with Buffy after season 3. I haven't quite gotten to season 4 yet. And I also haven't watched season 3 in like 5-6 years. But man, looking at this library makes me go like, man, I miss the world of Buffy. I loved watching Buffy.
Yeah, so my history is interesting. Maybe I'll explain a bit more once we get into an actual combat section, and I'll just let the dialogue play out first.
Love the outfit, Buff. Zis boom ba.
Starting to think vamps do too. Cheerleading uniforms equal vampire magnets.
Also known to attract drooling middle-aged men like a backyard bug zapper. I might be throwing myself in front of this speeding mockery here, but didn't this attack seem more organized than usual?
I know. What could anyone want in a library?
I'm thinking maybe Cordelia and I ought to prowl the reference stacks, just in case anything else was taken.
I could give you a hand. Not like you guys are all that familiar with the actual books.
Who's talking about books?
Oh, knew that. But stacks, prowling reference. Confused, but I'm better now. And there's no reason for me to be in the stacks with Xander. With you guys. Enjoy the prowling.
Well, all this Scoobying has left me a tad parched. The bronze, anyone?
From what I hear, the police are already claiming the attack was by a gang on PCP.
Does anyone actually still make PCP?
Hello? Wrong girl to ask.
Pretty sure witches are strong in the PCP. Maybe.
Maybe. This was, to be fair, this was a little before she got super into like all the wizard stuff. But you're right though, Zach, that you'd think that she would know more.
So, Buffy, you're really gonna go through with the whole cheerleader thing?
I don't know. At first I was just doing it as a favor to Cordelia, but I think I might be getting the hang of it. I might just try out for a permanent spot on the squad. It's very empowering. And there's the rhyming.
To celebrate your cheerleading change of heart, let's go to the bronze.
All this fuss over a stupid book? Why don't you people get your priorities straight? Hello? Cheerleading competition this week? So, if we're all done here, I think I have a flat tire that needs fixing. Xander.
So are Xander and Cordelia still dating at this point?
Yes. Yeah, it's also been a long time since I've seen this season as well, Zach, so I'm not fully up to date on who was with who at this point. Like, Buffy talking about cheerleading being her priority is just, like, so far away in my mind. So much happened. I've seen up to season 5, the end of season 5, and as of yesterday, I started season 6 after not watching the show for a number of years. So I'm in a very different headspace in terms of these characters.
Buffy, there are some advanced fighting techniques I'd like you to begin studying immediately.
Joy, more and more complicated ways to monster mash.
Indeed. Take this and study it.
Wait, you didn't say there was reading involved.
Given the gravity of our situation, I recommend you incorporate these techniques into your repertoire immediately.
No need to get all heavy with the gravity. Consider it done.
Okay, we got another technique. So yeah, there's little combo attacks you can do to do special moves that basically allow you to take down the vampires much more easily. And you'll know you executed a combo correctly because this like white glow will form around Buffy when she does the attack. So yeah, we got, up, and then A, and then we got, I don't even know if I can do this one. I'll try it. But yeah, clearing attack if you're like surrounded.
Guessing you're wondering about the outfit. See, I've been doing an independent study to see if vamps are more likely to prey on cheerleaders rather than slayers because, you know.
Buffy, I'm well aware of your return to cheerleading. As long as it doesn't interfere with your duties as Slayer, I have no objection.
I like this alternate universe, Giles. Is the old one coming back?
Don't be ridiculous, Buffy. The alternate universe Giles has a beard.
Maybe you should get confused more often.
Could we please focus for a moment on the business at hand?
I'm the picture of focus. So what was that big thumbprint on Ugly's forehead?
Precisely my next avenue of inquiry. While I'm glad our biggest problem of late is a handful of bungling vampires and a stolen library book, I'm rather curious about that distinctive mark. Certainly it has some arcane significance.
So right before I came into this library, Giles was in trouble and there was a really powerful vampire trying to hurt him. And so they're trying to figure out what the deal is with this guy. Like, not too much has happened in the story so far, just that vampires have attacked the school at night. And we're trying to figure out, where they came from and what's triggering them to jump now. And where these more powerful forms are coming from. That's all that's happening in the story so far.
Everyone seems determined to go to the bronze. Want to come with?
Actually, boring as it may seem, I rather think I'll try to accomplish something instead.
All right, Mr. Responsible. We'll gyrate in your stead.
Please don't.
Okay, the writing in this game is better than I remember it. I do believe that from what I read, most of the dialogue in this game was not written by, like, the show's writers, but people that had written, like, many of, like, the Buffy novels and comic books. So they knew some of, like, what the vibe of how the characters speak was. I mostly recently been playing the sequel to this game, which is Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleeds, which takes place during Season 5, and the writing's not as great there. It's not awful, but it feels a lot more stilted.
I haven't seen the show in quite a few years,
Right.
but
Let's give this a whirl. O eternal and all-powerful Lord, to whom the darkness itself bows down, from whom flows the damnation of humankind. Who writes this dross? I call forth Laibach of the Abyss, as you have commanded. Come to me, your most loyal servant beseeches thee. Drew! Let it down, you wanker! Got me doing your dirty work. As long as you got a hold on Drew. But don't push me, old man. Oh, yeah, like I had any bloody choice in the matter. I've been a good little errand boy, oh great and powerful one. Come back to the Hellmouth, reclaim the Master's old church digs in your name, and regroup what was left of the Order of Aurelius. Even summoned that Materiani fella. Although the necromancer seems to be running a little bit behind schedule. Maybe he's caught in traffic or something. Bad form to rub it in when you're holding all the cards. But I can't afford to fold. What next, Dark Lord? How may I serve you further? Oh, I don't see that being too much of a problem. Got a wonderful little flesh palace just down the street.
Even though my memory is a bit hazy on Buffy, I would say this writing gets close enough.
Some of
Yeah.
my sources, they tell me skanky Heather there was throwing herself at Steve Phillips, one of the hunkier linebackers, after football practice yesterday. Shocking coincidence? It just so happens Steve hasn't been heard from since. Now here she is working her tight end on one of our tight ends. You know what I think? I think she's some kind of vampire slut on a mission to kill the precious few remaining hotties at Sunnydale High. She must be stopped. Sick her, Buffy.
Listen, Miss Kitty, I can't stake every girl who blocks your spotlight. When you saw her yesterday, wasn't it broad daylight? Hello? Vamps have that pesky allergic reaction to the sun?
Okay, maybe she lathered up with the whole Econo tub of 90 sunscreen. Whatever she is, she must be stopped.
Sorry, Cordelia. Looks like another jock fell prey to her trampy wiles. Maybe now we can start enjoying the evening.
Jeez, Buff, jinx us, why don't you? That's a cue for something evil to crash in if I ever heard. Showtime.
Buffy! No, I want my Slayer back. Look, it's uptight suburban girl.
Just between us girls, you're looking a little worn around the eyes.
Excuse me? A little help here? Cheerleader.
Oh, that was cool.
So what happened there, Zach? That's actually an environmental kill. I pushed her up against this coat rack and it stabbed her through the heart.
Got a bit of a vampire problem here.
Yeah, I saw, but that's why I said that was cool. I didn't know the game would allow you to do that, but that is pretty sick.
I know there's a lot of complexity to the combat system.
Drool on my blouse. You are so dead.
No, this is, to me, like, people talk about good licensed video games and they always go to, like, Spider-Man 2 or, you know, Chronicles of Riddick or whatever. But to me, this is, like, one of the good licensed games that nobody talks about. It's the writing's not amazing, but it, like you said, it's good enough. It captures the feel of the characters in the show. They got most of the original cast back, and the combat feels good. It feels like the choreography of the show.
You think you can take me? Come on, kick my ass. Watch that last step. It's a humdinger.
I'd say what interested me in Buffy is
Wow,
the
the crowd
writing
always
style.
Yes.
Although I could definitely see nowadays people being annoyed with it. I think Buffy handles it well, but I think considering the modern movie writing style, how Hollywood likes to write things now, and especially with the MCU being a thing, I could definitely see a lot of people not appreciating this writing as much, but I swear Buffy does it better.
Right. I mean, it's definitely the stereotypes of Joss Whedon's writing have been kind of set in stone by the Avengers movies. And I think people kind of forget that. No, I mean, people remember him for actually very good writing, which is why he became popular in the first place with, you know, stuff like Buffy, Firefly, Dollhouse, that sort of thing.
Just have the urge to kill you.
Firefly I still have to finish.
Oh, come on.
Jeez, they don't relent.
Oh, no, they are tough in this game. You have to get good at the combos in the combat system, and they can block, too. Okay, and we're back, finally. So, some of my history with Buffy is that, I had always interested in it. It was like, it would air, like, before I would go to elementary school on, like, Fox. And I was always interested about what the show was.
I feel like a new Slayer.
So, when I was in Toronto, Canada in 2019 on a trip, my friends were not available that day, so I was trying to just walk around the city and find stuff to do. And I found that the local movie theater was doing like a retro night, and the retro movie it was playing was the original 1990s Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, the one that came out before the show. And I'd always been interested in that just because I heard that it was kind of an interesting mess that the director did not get along with the writer, and it just became like a whole thing. So I went to the theater to see it, and I ended up actually really liking the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. I liked the characters, I liked the goofy kind of campy nature of it. It was just fun. So I decided finally I was going to watch the Buffy the Vampire Slayer show, and yeah, the show is way better than the movie, but the show also has, you know, more to build on, obviously. But just in general, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer show, honestly, going back to it, it still stands the test of time. It's smartly written, plays against your expectations. The characters are funny, but also really likable. Gosh, every season has some really interesting or new arc that always keeps things going. Like I said, in season 6, the show is just like still finding ways to twist things in a way that still keeps everything interesting and adding new characters and new dynamics. A lot of shows borrowed from its witty dialogue and its style, but few have been actually able to truly copy the quality of how it was actually put together.
Buffy! Will! I am so...
There's also some really interesting Monster of the Week type episodes, too.
Lovely night for the old mayhem, isn't it?
Spike.
Knew you'd miss me. Say, where's that gel-headed Nancy boy you're always parading around with? Usually Angel's following you around like a nuded pup.
What are you doing back in Sunnydale, Spike? We had a deal.
Sorry, love. Business is business. Guess there's just no honor among us children of the night.
You shouldn't have come back.
Is Buffy sad 'cause the big bad broke his promise?
Wake up, moron. I'm ecstatic to see you. You shouldn't have come back 'cause I've been saving up a big honkin' serving a whoop-ass just for you. Glad you're here. It was getting a bit heavy to carry
Make
around.
you bleed, Slayer. Right then, Slayer. It's to be fisticuffs. Try not to get your blood on the jacket.
Oh, God. Can I get some holy water on him? Yeah.
Oh, I've missed hurting you, Spike.
Wow, this is where Spike canonically kills Buffy.
Oh.
Wow, I can't believe it. And so they had to cancel the show after this happened in the game, so...
Well, I mean, if Buffy dies, we just get another one.
Make you bleed.
It's true. That's how the State of the Slayer works. That was actually a really cool arc in the show, too, where they actually had a real Slayer, a real new Slayer show up after they thought Buffy was dead.
Yeah, I'm guessing it should be fine to go into spoilers, because I'm pretty sure anyone looking up this video probably knows something about Buffy.
Right.
I mean, the show's been around for quite a while. Yeah, I really like that Buffy dies fighting the Master, But then when she comes back to life, there's still another Slayer. And I really like the other Slayers we got. They were interesting characters. Yeah, like, the game makes Buffy's writing seem like it's that typical... How do I put it? That kind of writing style where everyone's constantly trying to be witty, like super quippy MCU style. But the show is so much more than that, because the show also, I think it's well balanced out by many of its dark, insane moments. Things are still taken seriously in this world, regardless of what the writing may have you think.
That's all right, boys.
There's some really clever ideas, too. One thing that came to mind, actually, while they were in the library...
Get the picture?
Yeah. One thing I can say about my relationship with the little miss down there, it's got fire.
Continue, Zach.
Yeah. Sorry, I was waiting for the cutscene to end. There's a moment, actually, where the vampires are attacking the school at night. I forget the reason. I think it's probably to invade the library or something.
Yeah.
Or to draw out Buffy. And when talking about how the vampires can get in, I believe it's Spike that points at the sign at the school and basically says something like, yeah, the academic areas are always inviting those who seek knowledge, and we are seeking knowledge, so we've been invited in. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
There's a lot of just cool and clever and interesting ideas in Buffy.
I mean, we're talking about a show where the first scene is a guy that's kind of predatory taking a girl out on a date, and it's clear, and they're clearly building up the guy's going to be the vampire, and then it twists immediately and shows it's actually the girl. Like that's basically the show setting up your expectations for it, that it's going to be something that's always going to be playing around what you think is going to happen.
Yeah, I think Buffy plays around.
But it's not arbitrary. Most of the time, the choices Buffy makes in its stories do feel genuine and make sense with the characters and don't feel contrived.
One thing Brandon and I were talking about before we started this recording, one of my favorite episodes involves what you think is going to be an evil puppet. And I believe the idea is that the puppet is stealing brains from the teenagers, from the various high school students. Which, yeah, people just die in the show all the time. There's lots of murder. Like, these monsters do not fuck around. And, yeah, if I have the episode correct, yeah, there's a monster going around stealing the brains of the students. And the show has you think it's going to be the evil puppet. But no, the puppet's not evil. The puppet is possessed by the soul of, I think, like a demon hunter. And he actually helps Buffy find the actual monster.
And like I was telling Zach off recording, the puppet actually becomes a playable character in the sequel to this game, Buffy Chaos Bleeds, which I thought was an interesting choice, because on one end it seems a little random because he was a one-off character in a one-off episode, but he was also really cool, so it makes sense that people that are fans of the show would bring back characters that were interesting.
On the bright side, Slayer. The alarm.
I'd say Buffy has a lot of really good one-off episodes.
Ooh, pointy.
I'm trying to remember some other ones, but unfortunately, my brain can only hold so many memories, and I'm watching so many shows all the time that my brain sort of cycles through what it remembers.
Right.
You know. Oh, man. Oh. Just remember that episode where Buffy's mom gets a new boyfriend and he's a total dickhead.
Yes. That's a great one.
God, that episode was hard to watch. Oh, wait, yeah, the boyfriend was just a dick to Buffy, I believe, right?
Yes.
That was, like, the thing about it.
Yep.
He'd be awful to her, but around the mother, he'd be normal.
And he was like a robot or something, right? If I remember right.
Yeah, he was a robot, which that caught me super off guard. I knew that they would have to make him fantastical at the end, so that way it doesn't look like Buffy just murders a random human.
Right.
But I kind of had the take that it... Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe it would have been too extreme if he had actually been just a person and Buffy just accidentally murders him by kicking him down the stairs and he breaks his neck.
Yeah.
Like, Buffy's dark, but...
That was a really big moment, too, when she really... Because she reacts like, oh my god, I killed a human!
Yeah, she's horrified. Yeah, there's a lot of traumatizing moments in Buffy, which is why I think they can get away with the witty dialogue, like characters constantly quipping at each other. It helps keep the show from being super depressing. I think it's just the character's way of dealing with the fact that this is their job, just dealing with murderous monsters every night.
Yep.
And most of these characters could just die at any moment.
But one thing, and this is something I saw when I was watching season 6, I won't say too much about the plot details because obviously Zach doesn't want to know yet because he's not that far in the show. But one thing that really shocked me about the writing is that season 6 gets very dark, very grim. It's a plot with a lot of nuance and some of the darkest material the show's dealt with. And they still manage to get humor in, but it does something that the later Joss Whedon stuff, like the MCU stuff, kind of fails at, where they'll have like a real moment between characters and they throw it off because they have to throw a joke in there because market research says comedy is supposed to go here and it kills the mood of the scene. Buffy still has comedy even when it's at its darkest, but it never feels unnatural because it makes sense with the way these characters play off of each other. And it works, and it really surprised me. I was like, oh no, so it's not that you shouldn't write this way, it's that other things were just writing this bad. Sunnydale, a fine place to live, which I think the slogan for the town you and I live in, Zach, is literally a nice place to live.
Looks like an opportunity for a good wholesome shimmy.
Come on. Don't fall. Come on, Buffy. There we go.
There we go.
So this game actually did start out life as like a Dreamcast game. It was PS1, then it was a Dreamcast game, then eventually development went on so long it became an Xbox game.
No trail of breadcrumbs, but I'm guessing Spike and his blood buddies jumped.
I'd say this game looks good. All the characters look pretty much exactly how they should.
Which is not common for licensed games back in this era. Like, usually they looked sort of like them or really uncanny looking, while not everybody in this game looks one-to-one, but the supporting characters look fine enough, and then characters like Buffy and Giles just look like perfect. And
Xander does look a little off to me.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, Buffy and Giles look perfect.
Keep this mud off me. Hurry!
Uh-oh. So that was a Demogorgon, I think. There was also one of those at Buffy's high school in an earlier level.
Not like this. I can't die like this. Somebody help!
Oh, Zach, there's a scene from Angel that I want to show you, because in season 3 of Angel, there's an episode where Angel has to save this guy that's in like a hell prison. It's like a prison where all the cells are made out of fire and the people inside of them are just constantly burning forever. And so he has to save this person that may not be good, and the jail is guarded by this horrifying looking demon man, and then Angel talks to him and he talks back and he's just like a guy. Like he's just like, so you work here? Yep. Cool. So I'm here because I have to rescue that guy. And he's like, well, I can't do that because that's part of my job. And Angel's like, so just talk to me for a second. So do you like live here in this place? And the demon's like, no, I commute. It's only like 20 minutes. It's not that bad, but you know, it is a demon hell portal, so there is traffic in some forms. And they just go on like this for like 5 minutes. Or they just have like a really casual conversation. And the thing that, oh god damn it. Anyway, the thing that's kind of sad about it is that Angel actually ends up forming a decent like camaraderie with this guy, but he does have to break this guy out of prison. So Angel fights the demon, but he does like knock him out and make sure he's not going to hurt him. And he makes sure to say like on the way out where he's like, "Nah, man, I mean, we're good. I don't want to hurt you. I'm sorry that this whole thing turned out this way."
Hey, help!
And like it was just a really random, like, despite how dark all of that was of like this hell prison, it was a surprisingly just really funny and sweet scene where the guy in like tons of makeup that looks like a horrifying demon just talks like a normal person. Which, to be fair, a lot of the vampires in Buffy are sometimes like that. But now Angel's a good show too. It's not as consistent as Buffy, but when it has good episodes, they're on par with Buffy. There's some really good episodes in Angel.
My best friend. Just between us.
Yeah, Angel is probably also a show I should check out as well.
Well, if you're getting into Buffy season 4, that also is where Angel technically starts.
Yeah, Angel and Buffy split after season 3.
Yep.
And then they split off, and then Angel splits off into his own show, and then they start a Buffyverse.
God damn it, lady, die!
Cheerleader. I'm so
only one of
ashamed.
There's an endless supply of us.
I mean, he's not wrong. There does seem to be an endless supply of vampires.
Get out.
Why did they have Luigi's dash attack from Smash Brothers?
Oh, he canceled me out of my grab and bit me. So unfortunately, I'm not probably going to get super far in this part, and we're probably just going to have to cut it here because this game's tough, and I forgot how tough it was. I thought I could just kind of talk about how much I love this show while playing this game, but you have to really concentrate on Buffy the Vampire Slayer to not get killed because the vampires really are relentless. Speaking of.
Just between us.
But yeah, I'm enjoying Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the show, a lot. I'm going to see how season 6 turns out. A lot of people have warned me it's not a good season, but I just want to see for myself because I love these characters and I want to see where this franchise goes. But yeah, if you have interest, please play the Buffy the Vampire Slayer console games. Find a copy of the original game. Find a copy of Chaos Bleeds. Definitely give them a shot. They're a lot of fun. And that wraps up this edition of Keeping BZ as I run for my fucking life screaming like a little girl.
So are you playing as Buffy or Xander?
Well, in Chaos Bleach, you can play as Xander.
Oh, what does he get to do? I'm assuming he's mandatory stealth sections.
Nope, no, he has combat. He can do like combos, and he has a stake, but his combos are a lot clunkier looking than Buffy's. He's very clumsy looking.
Okay.
Yep, okay. Yep, alright. Have a good night, everybody. I'm taking a dirt nap.
Bye, Buffy.